Ever since the Kia Telluride was introduced 5 years ago in 2020, it has been one of Kia's most major success stories. This thing regularly outpaces Toyota, Honda, the major competitors. Today we are checking out the 2025 Kia Telluride. Now, there aren't many changes really at all for 2025. The changes come for next model year, the 2026, which there have been some spy photos of. But despite the fact that there's nothing really new for 2025, it is a handsome, pretty vehicle at every angle. I love these wheels, by the way. This right here is in this beautiful snow pearl kind of white on the outside. And there's so much to love about the Telluride. There are 10 different trim levels. It's unbelievable. And every single one of them has an impressive list of standard safety features, standard amenities, standard gadgets and gizmos. The X Pro trim was the off-road friendly trim. That can tow up to 5,500 pounds. Every other Telluride can tow up to 5,000 pounds. And like I said, it's been a major hit since it was introduced back in 2020, and it kind of marked the line in the sand for me, for Kia, when it became kind of a real competitor looks-wise. It always had that great warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles. They were always kind of cheaper cars. They were sort of attractive looking. The Kia Soul was quirky and weird. But in 2020 with the Telluride, Kia really got everyone's attention with, wow, they can make a pretty darn good looking SUV and make it practical, versatile, and affordable. There are 3 rows in this thing, and every single row is adult friendly. How often do you get a 3rd row beyond, a Suburban that actually has room for adults? Well, you do in this Telluride. There is near luxury on the inside of this, refinement, quality materials. It's whatever level is just underneath luxury. I don't know what the word would be. It's on the verge of luxury. It's almost there. All right, there's so much to talk about here. I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about all of it. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for finding us. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for the support as well. No matter who you are, please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe below. All right, enough from me. Let's dive into this 2025 Kia Telluride. Let's go. Let's just talk aesthetics briefly before I get into some stats here. Classic, refined, yet sporty and still modern. Look at these tail lamps. I love these rear tail lamps that kind of hook up into the middle part of the rear trunk lid here. You see this dual exhaust here. This is obviously also a 4-wheel drive, the all-wheel drive option here on this Telluride. You can get front-wheel drive as well, but all-wheel drive probably is the better option for you. Again, this nice snow pearl white design here. You've got 20-inch rims on this particular Telluride. Kind of look like a snowflake almost. The dual tone I love very much, and this classic Kia front as well. This tiger nose kind of grille, still alive and well here on this 2025 Kia Telluride. A little bit of plastic down here and around the front. Obviously, also, kind of feels a little plasticky in areas, but not the end of the world for most everyone. It is heavy-duty plastic. I don't think it's really going to go anywhere, but it's not as nice as something a little bit more hefty. And I love these headlights as well. Look at this. It's like multiple parts. It looks like a drip, a little bit like sap dripping off a tree or something like that. Super cool at night as well. I do love the way this thing is actually sitting right now with the wheel turned and this darkened sky behind us here. Yeah, really cool. All right, as I mentioned before, there are 10 different trims on the Telluride, which is absolutely insane. How do you pick the one that you want? Well, pricing starts for the LX around $37,800, and it tops off at $55,000 for the SX Prestige X Pro. Yeah, say that 10 times fast. Now, the sweet spot to me is in the middle of that pack. Likely the SX or the EXX line, both for aesthetics, overall features, and of course, your price. Now, the SX starts around $47,600. Insane standard features though. Listen to this. 12-way power adjustable seats. Those black 20-inch rims, these aren't totally blacked out, but these are the 20-inch rims I'm talking about right here. You also get in that SX package, the SX trim, Harman Kardon stereo, front and rear sunroof, second row captain's chairs. You'd expect a sticker price north of like 60,000 bucks for that kind of stuff these days, but not in the Telluride. You get it here for under $50,000. Now, you can add all-wheel drive for about $2,000, which is not terrible, but there are some things you can't see that this Telluride has available, like like self-leveling rear air suspension, which is really, really cool. Excellent brakes as well. Big disc brakes all the way around. You can see them right in there. And there's also precise steering, which we'll get to later on in the video. And you can kind of tell by the way the car is sitting now, the ground clearance is pretty decent, about 8.4 inches of ground clearance. Maybe more plastic than, you know, a BMW or a higher end actual luxury car. I love the sculpted lines right here. Look at this, kind of just like chunked out. And all together really just makes this car look super handsome from any angle, truly. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. I love the way it looks. I'm gonna kind of miss this design whenever it gets redone next year. But I guess with everything, things have got to change. So I mentioned there are 10 different trims on the Telluride, but no matter which one you get, a naturally aspirated V6 is your only option. 291 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, good for 5,000 pounds of towing capacity in the main trims of the Telluride. The X-Pro trims, the heavy-duty off-road X-Pro trims, can tow up to 5,500 pounds. Now I mentioned front-wheel drive is standard, all-wheel drive is an option, $2,000 upgrade, not terrible, but you know, to me, all-wheel drive on a car like this should just be standard across the board. Now, as far as fuel economy, let's talk about how well this thing does on sucking gas. Obviously, front-wheel drive is the most efficient at 20 city, 26 highway. All-wheel drive drops down to 18, 24, so not terrible either way, but obviously front-wheel drive a little bit better. Now, I mentioned too that the V6 is the only engine you can get. Yeah, no hybrid, no four-cylinder, nothing. It's just a V6, and it actually sounds pretty decent. It reminds you of what a V6 has always sounded like. Let's talk speed now of this V6. 0 to 60 in about 6.8 seconds. Respectable considering this is, again, 3 rows, weighs more than 2 tons, and has a lot of stuff on the inside as far as passenger space, cargo space. 6.8 seconds to 60 is not terrible. Now, the Toyota Grand Highlander Max and the Mazda CX-90 are faster to 60, but at the end of the day, if you're going for price, overall amenities, features, and all-wheel drive, this package is almost unbeatable. There's a reason Car and Driver, Motor Trend, all the major car review companies regularly rate this thing at the top of the segment. Let's hop on the inside and check out that cargo space. So like I mentioned, tons of room on the inside of this for people and their things. With 3 rows, you know there's plenty of room. Automatic power lift gate here on the Telluride. Right here behind the 3rd row, 21 cubic feet of space, which is just incredible behind the 3rd row. They are pretty easy to put down. You just yank on that and it goes right down. Yank on this, it goes right down as well. Now, right here with the 3rd row seat actually down, you still have 47 cubic feet of space behind the 2nd row. With that 2nd row down, you actually get an incredible 87 cubic feet of space. And at the push of a button, you can make that 2nd row go down. Just like that, and just like that. So 87 cubic feet of space behind the 1st row with the 2nd and 3rd rows down. An insane amount of room. Let's also talk about what the storage space looks like back here. We've got a big underfloor well to put stuff in. I always put things like, you know, extra rags, different kind of fluids for the car underneath places like this. Out of sight, out of mind. Back here on the side, next to the buttons for the 2nd row seats, you've got a traditional 12-volt outlet right there as well. Some little storage space here next to the 3rd row passengers, and a little cup holders here as well. Cup holders on this side too. And if you look closely here, a USB-C charging port there and a USB-C charging port over here as well. Now let's go back up to the 2nd row here and show you how easy it is to actually put these seats up and down. These are captain seats if you can't tell. First of all, pull them right back up. Now let's say you want to get in to the 3rd row from the 2nd row. A little button right up here, push this, the whole seat moves and slides right out of the way. Super easy. You can do it with 1 finger, let alone 1 hand. You don't need 2 hands. You don't even need a full 1 hand. Just 1 finger, this thing moves out of the way and you can easily access this 3rd row here. Let's pull this back up. Again, I'm filming and doing this with 1 hand, so you know it's got to be pretty easy. And look at all that space back there. Let's actually climb in and do it together. Pull this seat back to where it needs to go. And look at that. I have so much room between my knees and that 2nd row seat. Now, maybe after 8 hours, 6 hours, I might get a little cramped. But the point is, this is a usable, adult-friendly third row with tons of room back here for people and their things. The captain's seats in this second row are absolutely amazing. I love captain's chairs. And while I'm talking about the captain's chairs, actually, Kia makes this an 8 or 7 passenger capacity on the inside, because this second row can also be a traditional bench if you don't want these captain's chairs and you want more seating capacity. One of the coolest features Kia has on the Telluride is this really fun feature called driver talk that literally amplifies the driver's voice from the front row for the passengers here in the third row, so you can better hear them out on the road. You know, when are we there yet? They can give you an answer. So let's hop into the second row here and show you a few more features in the second row for those passengers, and then we'll get up front to talk about all the fun amenities and things that are waiting for us in the cockpit. Let's go. Here in the second row, quickly, okay, so this is one seat up and that is one seat down over there. You can see the difference here. There's tons of room to walk between them in case you don't want to slide the chair to get out of the way to walk back there. You can absolutely walk through the center aisle here. Again, a bench seat is optional here, or these captain's chairs are optional. As far as you know, heat and air controls in the back, you may think, oh, there's none down here. Well, that would be because it is up here on the roof. A nice big bulkhead of buttons and things. You got your fan speed here, you've got your directions here for you as well, and I've got your temperature also for you. Now, what I don't love are these big, bulky, kind of really plasticky feeling dome lights. These feel just bulbous and ridiculous looking to me. They should be more refined looking and more upscale. This is a more upscale SUV, despite it being from Kia, and these kind of small things, these little details do matter. One of the things I love detail-wise back here that Kia did really well, look right here on the driver's seat and on the passenger seat, you've got 2 USB-Cs. So you can charge literally everywhere in this car. You can charge like 6 phones at once. It's absolutely crazy. You've got cup holders right here for you as well. And when this seat goes back up, actually, which I can't do from right here because actually I can't. Let me pull this up. There we go. Yeah, and you got your partner right there next to you. Tons of room for feet, tons of room for legs. And if you can see right here, there's a small lip right here at the bottom. So it's actually a little bit raised up here in the second row. So you can kind of look down on the people in the front. It gives you a better view. Definitely some cheaper plastics right here, and you know, stuff that's really, look at this, really easily scuffed up and marked up. There's only like 900 miles on this car, and it's already got scuffs kind of everywhere. So that is one of the things you will notice, is that despite it being really, really nicely pointed, it does have some really, really cheap materials in some places. So if you can get over that, then you should look into the Telluride. But look at this too. What kind of door lock is that? It's just a big black piece of plastic, kind of odd. This also feels kind of cheap. So those are the downsides. The Kia plastics are still kind of here in some areas, but at the end of the day, they're not a deal breaker in any way, in my opinion. You got big handles here for you as well. All right, let's hop up front. Look at that big screen. Everything up there looks beautiful. Let's go check it out. Come on. Stepping into the front of the Telluride, I was instantly kind of drawn to this, thinking, wow, what brand name speaker is this? I got really close. Yeah, and it just says Telluride. I was kind of upset. I thought for a second there was some brand I didn't know about. No, it's not Harman Kardon, even though it's an option on this car. The Harman Kardon speaker system is not in this particular vehicle that I have right here. That just says Telluride. That aside, the door is nice. The black, gray, and kind of chrome accents all together work nicely. Again, cheaper plastics all over the place. You do have the scuffed up plastic here that's very hard to clean and keep clean because it's so easily marked up. This feels nice right here, but obviously it's not real leather in any way. Now, you do have a power seat here for the driver. The passenger seat on this particular Telluride is not power. It is a manual seat. You got your buttons down here for you. This is where Kia kind of loses me as far as, you know, their attention to detail. Big and kind of bulky, and like they were afterthoughts, because I mean, I know they're just buttons, but this kind of stuff really makes the whole car come together. Anyway, let's hop into the vehicle right here. Already kind of on. Let's put it on. It was in accessory mode. So the typical Kia greeting for you here, with all of the different fonts and colors all coming together. And as I said before, definitely on the verge of luxury. This is not exactly the higher end Tellurides. That aside, every single one has this massive 12.3-inch display here in the center, and this digital gauge cluster is also a winner in my book. And you can actually tell if you look from above, it is a curved screen. Can you tell right there? Yeah, it's a curved screen, which is what Kia does really, really well. It reminds me of Saab back in the day, Saab would have the center dash ever so slightly tilted toward the driver so that they can see the screen the best, because they're the ones driving and controlling everything. So if you've been in a Kia recently, it all looks very, very familiar. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. The steering wheel feels nice and beefy in your hands. I don't love how big and bulky this feels right here or looks. To me, this should be more slim, more slender, and just look more, I guess, upscale. That's what Kia was kind of going for with the rest of this car. Why not make this match that? Your standard buttons here for, hands-free talking, different modes for the gauge cluster here as well, and for the center entertainment screen. You've got your lane keep assist, your adaptive cruise control, and certain buttons right here to change the center gauge cluster and what you want displayed. Tire pressure, your trip information, you got your directions, all your normal stuff that you would want to do. You can customize and make this screen look the way you want it to look. Over here, you do have your hill descent assist. You've got your power lift gate. You've got your traction control and your brightness as far as the gauge cluster and the center screen go as well. Now, again, back to the buttons. These all feel cheap. These all feel like they're out of my 2015 Kia Soul that I used to have. So Kia, again, kind of skipping and cutting corners on the refinement with these buttons and things like that. That's the small stuff that the luxury brands do really, really well that make a difference when they all add up together. That said, it's a very, very beautiful cockpit. I'm not trying to ding it too much, but when you go to touch the stuff that looks nice, it doesn't feel as nice as it looks, if that makes any sense. I'm sure someone can relate to that. One of the things I do love, though, about the Telluride is, look at this. It has two handles here to grip, both for the driver and for the passenger. You know, when you're doing those G's and pulling G's on turns and things like that in your super sporty Telluride. Down here, you got your buttons for your automatic start and stop. You've got your parking sensors, auto hold for you here. You've got your parking brake here. And right in front of this, all your different driving modes: Smart, Sport, Comfort, Eco, and Snow. And you just turn that, and if you've done it in any of the car, you can do it here. And right here is your locking as well. Pretty standard Kia gear shifter right in front of that as well. Again, kind of looks outdated in my opinion. Thank God they're going to be updating some parts of this Kia Telluride next year, because to me, this just looks old and, you know, very 2015, 2016, 2017. In front of that, though, is a little door to store stuff in. And I'm not going to lie, look how hard I have to push on this to make it go up. It does not easily go up, and it actually is even harder to get it to stay in place. You think you would just like tap it to stay closed? No. You have to like push it down in and then it stays. I don't know if that's just this car or not, but this is annoying. That's going to take some time to get used to for sure. This, again, looks exactly the same as it did 10 years ago, 9 years ago. And a Kia, your 12-volt outlet here, USB here, USB-C here as well. This needs to all be upgraded. You do have a wireless charger down in there, but again, this door, this little cubby, yeah, very hard to keep closed in my opinion. And also easily gets marked up with fingerprints super, super fast. Right above that, a typical heating, air conditioning, all different kind of ventilation system buttons for you there. Very easy to operate. Just turn it on, push what you want, up and down. You can sync things over here. You have automatic climate control as well. Beneath that, I missed this by the way, very oddly placed heated seat buttons. Why are they so prominent? To me, they should just be buttons down in here or actually up in the screen or something like that. And speaking of the screen, there is the big, large 12.3-inch touchscreen for us right in the center here. And just beneath it are the vents, 3 big vents right in the center, and very easily you can shut them off. Just turn them over to where it says the X. Can you see that on there? Just turn this over to whoop to that side and the air cuts off immediately. I do love the way that the chrome here, and I put chrome in quotes, the chrome buttons in the black, they match up and are very nicely packaged together. The aesthetics of it is very nice. I don't love, again, how big and bulky these buttons look. It just looks unrefined and like it was like, just slap them on there, who cares? I do like the way they look from afar, but once you get up close, it's a little bit lacking in detail. And of course, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are standard across every single trim of the Telluride. You got in-dash navigation as well, onboard Wi-Fi available in some packages as well. The seats are very, very comfortable. Let's get a shot here of the passenger seat, which again on this model is a manual passenger seat. Nicely sculpted, nicely bolstered. Look how strong these look, and they feel really nice. They're solid. They're not super, super firm. They're comfortable enough. They're soft enough for a longer ride, but nice nicely done on these seats for sure. And while these seats are just heated up here in the front, on the higher trims of the Telluride, you can get heated and ventilated rear seats as well. So tons of options everywhere you go. You can get head-up display in some versions of the Telluride, Napa leather on the SX trim. So tons of different things depending on what your bank account will let you do here in the Telluride. 10 different trims, and overall very attractive cockpit. But again, some of the cheaper materials might get to some buyers. They might annoy some buyers who are looking for affordable, in quotes, luxury. All right, let's get this thing out on the road and talk about how it drives, what the comfort is like, and what the sounds are like out on the highway. Let's go. Alrighty, out on the road behind the wheel of the 2025 Kia Telluride. And the first thing I want to mention is that you might think Kia, kind of a cheaper brand, how well does it ride out on the open road? And you'd actually be really surprised. This is a quiet, refined cabin, in my opinion. For 47,000 bucks, 45,000 bucks, south of 50 for sure. This is a quiet vehicle. I'm quite surprised. I was expecting kind of a tinny sounding engine and a whiny engine, and hearing the wind. It is a windy day right now, and I can not only not hear the wind, it really is taking imperfections in the roadway quite nicely, and cars going by me or me passing other cars, I can barely hear them. So it is a quiet, refined cabin for sure. So nice job on Kia's part. The seats also very comfortable. I love the ride height of this. Again, 8.4 inches of ground clearance, and the brakes are excellent. I'm going to hit them here at 55 miles an hour here in a second. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let's whack them. Yeah, I mean, instantly grab and grip. The only thing I don't love, can you hear that? The turn signals. They sound like they're out of a 2006 Hyundai Elantra, because they probably are. The other thing I don't love that is like quintessential Kia is the font that they use in their gauge cluster, in their center touchscreen. It just looks cheap. I mean, it's kind of it's classic Kia at this point, but I kind of wish that like classic Kia didn't exist anymore in that realm, because it just harkens back to a time when they weren't as well made and weren't as nice looking as they are right now. Here comes some railroad tracks I'm about to go over. Let's see. Pretty simple. The tire kind of got caught on one of the railroad tracks, but quiet. There was no rough and tumble, no big bump over them. The suspension is more firm than soft. Any body roll? No, that's pretty confident. I wouldn't call it sporty at all, but it is definitely more firm than it is soft. So if you're looking for a softer kind of like floaty cloud ride, you're not going to get that here with the Telluride. And that V6, obviously a little bit slow off the line because it's not a hybrid, it's not electric, it's not turbo, but a nice sounding V6 once you get it revved up to about 4,000 RPM. And right there actually too, the lane keep assist kicked in for me. The steering wheel vibrates nicely for you. That's standard across the Telluride lineup. Some other standard safety features include forward collision with automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, that lane keep assist as I mentioned, and blind spot monitoring, among some others. Now there are optional safety features you can also opt into for the higher trims or add on to your Telluride. Things like a 360-degree camera, blind spot view, which actually puts a camera image of the vehicle's blind spot in your gauge cluster. It's a super cool Kia feature that instead of having to look into your mirror or anything like that, the actual vehicle's blind spot with a camera is projected and is displayed right here in your center gauge cluster. So you're looking at your blind spot by still looking forward. Now, as far as the famous Kia warranty, it's an infamous warranty in the industry, 10-year, 100,000 miles. That is just the powertrain warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. I don't know what my camera is doing here. It is not self-leveling at all right now. 10-year, 100,000 miles is the powertrain warranty. There is a limited new car warranty of 5 years, 60,000 miles. Now, unlike Toyota, which gives you scheduled complimentary maintenance for like 2 years, 25,000 miles, the Kia Telluride does not. Kia does not give you any complimentary scheduled maintenance. I'm absolutely loving all of the glass and visibility in this thing. thing. There is not any spot that I feel like I can't keep eyes on or keep track of. The massive rear pane of glass is just perfect. One of the other things you can opt up to is the sunroof. Right now, let's see if the camera can get it. It's just this basic sunroof right above me here in the driver's seat. There are optional sunroofs that expand and extend to the rear seats as well, which I think would be a nice touch. This is more of the entry-level Telluride that we're testing out here today. The steering wheel feels nice. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't feel as nice as it did before when I was sitting still. It feels a little bit too small for the size of this vehicle. I don't know if that's just me not being used to the car yet, but I don't love, I feel like it could be a little bit more beefy, a little bit more meaty in my hands. And even when you rev the engine and whack the accelerator, you can barely hear it through the cabin here. This is really, really nice. The sound deadening must be really, really nice on Kia's part, because I mean, you can hear it when I really, really get on it, and it actually sounds really nice. A V6 is just an unmistakable sound. Not a fast car, but quick enough for sure for the average person. You know, going to be hauling around people, things, and people. So there's not a lot of speed needed in an SUV like this. All right, let's put this thing in sport mode and do an acceleration test here for you. I'm actually holding the camera now because it's just going nuts. I don't know what's going on with it, but let's do an acceleration test here. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Oh, geez. Okay, well, this is a little bit faster than I thought it was gonna be. Wow, okay. That sounded amazing. Did not sound like a Kia Telluride at all to me, but the quintessential V6 sound. Definitely some get up and go off the starting line in sport mode for sure. I am quite surprised and shocked. The acceleration before this, just in normal mode, was not anywhere near as potent. I wouldn't, again, call it fast, but it's definitely quick. Let's hit it one more time. Yeah, it's not throwing me back in my seat or making me hold on for dear life, but yeah, for a 3-row family SUV, this has some get up and go. All right, Kia, we see you, we see you. Alrighty, well, that is it for today's review of this 2025 Kia Telluride, an amazing family SUV, 3 rows of adult-friendly space, a powerful V6, tons of amenities, all kinds of cool features, and guess what? It does not break the bank at all. A comparable Toyota, Honda, definitely going to be spending more money. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure you're subscribing to the channel below here on Overdrive Reviews. Leave us a comment and a like below if you found this video helpful, and be sure to follow us over on TikTok as well. We love engaging with everyone on every single platform. Thanks so much for watching. We will catch you on the next one.